The Other Side of the Boom was the title. I'll be relying a bit on the text panel today to remember what this work was about. I also have some cheat notes here. But my name is Juha Tolonen. I'm a landscape photographer. A fascination for landscape which I've had for about the past 10 years. Why? I guess I don't like photographing people. People make me nervous, so I'm doing pretty well being here today in front of you. Something about landscapes, they tend to be appear inert, just hang around while the sun floats above it. You can take pictures and meditate on the landscape. So I've been doing this roughly for about 10 years or so, and the last trip I did for landscape photography was a trip into China, northern China particularly. And this place really grabbed my interest from a documentary I saw, a 15-minute feature, I think it was on Foreign Correspondent, the rise of the ghost city in China, where massive construction is happening in China, and they're making new cities, new spaces for the urban migration which is happening, the rise of the middle class in China. But what's that documentary showcased was that a lot of the property is too expensive for the average Chinese person to purchase, and it's generally being bought by speculators who have no intention of moving into these places. So a lot of these cities remain empty. And so I wanted to go see for myself. Last year it was either a trip to North Korea. I couldn't get into North Korea, so I thought, well, we'll do the Chinese thing. Actually, worked well. So this is in the region of Inner Mongolia. It's an autonomous zone of China on the border of Mongolia proper. Population of about 25 million people. Area probably the size of New South Wales or something like that. Population greater than Australia. But it's a mineral-rich area, coal, gas, and some of those new technological minerals, the rare earth metals are being exploited there in that country. So there's a lot of, or within that region of China, there's a lot of mineral wealth there. And as a result, from that wealth, they're building a lot of these new cities. I guess we'll start with this picture here. This is one of the first, landed in November in the capital of Inner Mongolia, which is Hohhot, or Huahalta in Chinese, but we use the Mongolian term. It's actually a bilingual part of China. They actually have Mongolian as an official language, so all the streets, a lot of the signage is in Mongolian and Chinese. But this place called Hohhot is the capital, and as I'm leaving the airport, I got picked up by my hosts and they take me to the hotel. One of the first things I encountered was this large-scale billboard on the entry into the city, and it just attracted my eye because it just went on forever, about a kilometre long. And I just thought, I'll just put that down in my mental note that I need to come back and visit this site. So a few days later I actually managed to get my driver to take me down there and actually start shooting. So one of the places I focus on is the capital Hohhot, which is located here with these billboard pictures, and those three over there, also the capital Hohhot. But most of this stuff down here is the new city of Kanbashi, which is about a 3-hour drive out of Hohhot, a 3-hour chaotic drive. I actually initially had planned to drive this myself, but I've never actually driven in China before, and I'm actually glad I managed to get my translator to find drivers for me and take me there, because I would have been totally lost. And it was an interesting drive out there. They're building new motorways, new train lines all the way out through China, so linking sort of the coastal cities with the heartland of China into the inland. But a lot of the roads we were driving on were largely empty, particularly the new motorways, because, at least this is the way I read it, new motorways were generally tollways. Toll roads are expensive. So most of the vehicular traffic was all the dump trucks and other trucks which were supporting the new city being built. And hence, these 5 pictures here were a part of that trip into Kangbashi city proper. As the sun was setting, I was just photographing the landscape around us, and it's very much like, the landscape is not too dissimilar to say something like areas around sort of north of Kalgoorlie, red dirt, barren, a bit more Grand Canyon-esque here and there. But by the roadside, you can just always see this sort of level of massive construction, and you actually just sort of think, but is this sustainable? Is the whole idea is not only environmentally sustainable, but I think more so economically sustainable. To what extent will people actually start using these sites? So these 5 pictures here sort of represent that journey into Kangbashi, and just the idea of, economically the term is excess capacity, that perhaps China's building a little bit too much, a bit too early, a bit too quickly. But then entering the city of Kangbashi, which you can see located in the far end over there in that diptych on the right-hand side over there. It was a weird experience. It was about 8 o'clock at night. We'd missed the turn. We were probably arriving about an hour and a half too late. I was really tired. But as you enter the city proper, it's a brand new city, and there's like these LED lights scattered on the entry into the city, just guiding you into the city, just flashing all these lurid blues, reds, yellows. I think, wow, fantastic. It's like an acid trip into a city.